Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we are super happy to have you here, and we just ask that you bring an open mind and heart to your listening experience and to be prepared to explore vantage points that I'm convinced will help shift or solidify your current understanding of the ultimate nature of reality in a way that is extremely empowering. Speaking of exploring powerful perspectives, I'm super excited to announce the release of my very first book, The Golden Key: Modern Alchemy to Unlock Infinite Abundance. If you're ready to alchemize the circumstances in your life so that your abundance expands to an entirely new level in 2021, head over to goldenkey.gift to download the audio or ebook as my gift to you by using the code POSITIVEHEAD.
All right, all you positive heads, welcome. Welcome one and all. I am ever so grateful that you've joined me today on yet another beautifully magical day. Although that world out there seems a little crazy some days, like the polarization is getting more and more intense. Today I was talking to a friend, and the best way I could come up with describing with what's going on in the world right now is that our existing distortions are becoming heightened. So whatever was present before is just ramping up. And what's beautiful about that is that when things ramp up like that, we take a good look. We get to take a good look and really examine and then understand and accept. Hopefully we can get to that place of acceptance, because that is where we all need to be with ourselves and with each other. When we can learn to accept each other's polarities, each other's differences, we're all going to get along a whole lot more. And when we learn to accept ourselves and another, what we do is raise our vibration. We raise our frequency, and we switch the timeline that we're on. And this is an easy thing to do, believe it or not. As humans, we often complicate everything. We think that things need to be more complicated than they are. The reality is that things are very much quite simple indeed. The reality is that our thoughts create our reality. That seems too simple, but that is the reality. That is the reality of how creation itself was formed since the beginning. The thought focus is what created the light to come in to form. What created that light to densify and materialize into the matter that we know today. It all started with a focus, an intention, and that is all that we need to do to create the reality that we want to create for ourselves. Manifesting is actually very, very simple. As long as we are in alignment and integrity with our inner being. That's the most important thing. Our inner being is not going to allow us to do things that are against that. Well, yes, they will, but that's going to be a lesson for sure. But they're also not going to just give us everything that we ask for. Sometimes they do, to teach us a lesson that, sometimes those things that we pray for or wish for aren't always what's in our best interest. And that is a wonderful lesson to learn. But we can't be given everything that is not in alignment or in integrity with our own inner being. Because we have a journey, we have a destination. Our soul has a point or points along this journey that it wanted to learn. Now, there is no destination, so don't get that all twisted. What I'm saying is that our soul has points. We wanted to learn certain lessons. And so our soul, our spirit, is going to guide us in that direction and put certain things in our path so that we can reach those points or those destinations. Those lessons really is a better point for that destination point. It's really a lesson point. Julia Cannon, as I'm talking about this, she has a really wonderful analogy, a picture in your mind that you can have of this. Imagine in your mind a maze, and throughout that maze there are different points, just little dots. Maybe there's 3 or 4 of them throughout this big maze. And you want to get to those points because those are your lessons. And in the maze, it's confusing. It's very confusing. It seems really complicated. When you see it from the bird's eye view, it's actually really simple to just walk through that little path. But as humans, we overcomplicate. And what we wind up doing is bouncing back and forth, walking backwards in the same direction, going over that same cycle over and over again, back and forth, not really finding the direction that we're supposed to, which can often happen in the maze. But when we do find our way, along the way in that maze, we will reach those certain lesson points that are so incredibly important and that our soul planned for us along this journey. And so when we start to remember who we are and we come into alignment with our own inner being and we want to manifest things along that path, then our inner being is going to give us all of that because that is the direction that we have planned for ourselves. That is where we want to go. And so if we focus our thought in that direction, easy peasy, super, super simple. It's the stuff we're trying to manifest that it is not quite along our path or is in resistance to it that we're going to have a harder time with. But when it is in integrity with our being and our soul's purpose, then it is so incredibly easy. All we need to do is focus that thought. And the thing is, you can, with the power of your mind, focus that thought hard enough to manifest the things that aren't in your best interest. And like I said before, those are the most beautiful lessons. But that is the power of our mind. We can use it to manifest anything we desire. I did this in my life. At one point, there was a summer that I really wanted to live at the beach. We would do this in the summertime off from school, and we would go and get a beach house with some friends. And this one summer, it just wasn't working out exactly. And I pushed it. I was determined to go and stay at the beach that summer. And so my mental focus was so incredibly strong that I made it happen. But the thing was, all along the way, I had these little kind of red flags that were telling me, maybe this isn't a good idea. But I did it anyway because I was stubborn and I wanted to do it. And so I did manifest it. Thing is, it turned out to be not that great of a summer. And I learned some really hard lessons that summer. It was definitely a pivotal point in my life, but I could have learned these lessons a whole lot easier because it can be more simple. I was not following what my inner being was telling me. And so I paid the price for that. And so we start to learn through the years and with practice what these sensations, red flags, these messages, these feelings from our inner being are. And then it's a little easier to work with them. You know, lately, so many of my clients that have been coming in, their higher selves have been showing them scenes and messages and lifetimes where they are very, very easily creating their reality. They're showing them, like I talked about last week with the Earth Day show. It wasn't really on Earth Day, but I talked about the Earth Day session that I did. But in the same regard, where the thought was what was organizing the matter, the focus was what was bringing it all together. I have clients that are seeing this on a regular basis. They're not all creating the earth. My client the other day was just playing with it and practicing to see what she could create and to see how easy it was to do that within her mind. Because in this third dimensional reality where things seem so incredibly dense, it doesn't seem like it's simple and easy to do that. The reality is that we exist in an energetic environment. This environment is malleable. It is 99.9% space when you look at the physics of it. 99.9% space. And in that space is infinite potential. It is extremely malleable. We get to create it into whatever we desire. And that is such a beautiful, powerful thing when we understand that we have these choices. We get to decide, what do I want to create today? What kind of a day is it going to be? Is it going to be a day where people are nasty on the road and cutting me off? Or is it going to be a day where it's smooth sailing and I feel like a Care Bear driving down the road, shining all my glitter sparkles behind me? Is it that kind of day or is it an angry day? I decide. It is always my decision. And that's the beauty of this life. The more we make those decisions in love to see the love and light all around us, because it is all around us, again, everything is energy. Where our focus is going to determine what we see around us. It is that simple. When our vibration is low, we are going to be on the low vibrational timeline or the low vibrational frequency because that is where we are matching to. And so that's when we're going to get cut off and people are going to flip us off and we might respond the same. Yeah. Or when we are raising our vibration, when we're making that choice to see the love in every single moment, to breathe in that fresh air and be so incredibly grateful for it, to connect to the Mother Earth, to connect to each other, recognizing that there is only one of us here. When we can focus our thoughts in that direction, then we are on a higher timeline, a higher frequency, and our reactions will be smooth sailing. It is so simple. It's just, it doesn't seem that way. It seems like it's very difficult. Our reality seems to be showing us something different all the time. But if we take a good look and if we think about where are my thoughts today? What have I been thinking? Because it's all about where your thoughts are. Where is your thought focus? Examine your day and think about where your thought focus has been. Has it been centered on love and finding the love in every moment? Or has it not been? Has it been a little irritating, frustrating, depressing, angry even? Where is your focus? You have the power to turn that focus at any given time. The easiest way to turn that focus is to stop and take a breath. Just stop and take a breath. Remove yourself from the situation if it's one of those types of things and go outside. That's one of the best ways. But just breathe and center yourself and remember that the only thing that we are made of is love. The energy of love is what has created this entire universe. That is all we are. And this energy of love has the movement like water. It is malleable. It is so easy to create with it when we understand that that's what we're doing. When we can look back at our day and see, oh, this is where my thoughts have been. And look how my day went. Oh, that's interesting. That coincides. And do that every single day. Each night before bed, give your day a bit of an examination and see how that all of those different things coincide. And then if you want to really bonus this up, add gratitude into it. Even if it was a really, really crappy day, find the gratitude in it before you go to bed. Find the love and the gratitude in it. And in that very just small intention and thought focus, you will raise your vibration and change the time frequency or the timeline that you are on. It's very simple. We just need to stop telling ourselves that it's hard. It's not. That's a story. It's a program. It's very, very, very simple. One of the best exercises we can also do before going to bed and upon falling asleep, we are in that beautiful state of the in-between. And it is a very programmable state. So we can choose to program ourselves in that state. And we can choose to program ourselves with all the love and gratitude. And for myself lately, I've been programming patience and compassion. Those two things have been my biggest intentional energies that I am bringing in because it's not easy in this world and it takes a lot of patience and compassion with each other. And the more we can do that, the easier it is. And the more we do this type of thing, the more we find ourselves on that higher frequency, on that higher vibration where it is easier to manifest because that's just the nature of it. That's just the way that vibration works. It is easier to manifest in a less dense atmosphere. And so we will see these things coming way easier the more we are on that higher timeline. What's beautiful right now, we have just gone through that full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio. beautiful thing about this happening in Scorpio is that I see Scorpio like the phoenix, the death and rebirth, the transformation. We're all going through this right now. And what a beautiful time to program ourselves before bed. Because all of these old programs, all of these residual energies that have just been kind of stuck in us from childhood traumas, what have you, it's time for them to be released. And maybe you've noticed that they've been coming up lately. Beautiful. It is so beautiful when these things come up because, again, we get to look at them and then we get to show them love. We get to see that child aspect of ourself. We get to see it from our adult perspective and talk to that child from that perspective and gain a whole different understanding. In that understanding, we can release those energies. I did this very thing this morning. My higher self was showing me pictures of childhood, things that were stuck in my energy system that I wasn't even thinking of, but they were significantly affecting the way I do things today. And it helped me understand how incredibly powerful of a being I actually am. So many of us come here and we choose families that will make us feel like outsiders, the black sheep, feel abandoned, unloved, unworthy, all of the above. So many of us who have come to spread light and just be that energy here. We've chosen families that have been difficult for us. And the reason why we do that is so we can learn through that contrast. And on the soul level, we've all volunteered to play these parts for one another. So, say you had a parent that you didn't feel loved enough or always put you down and made you feel unworthy. On the spirit side, you made this agreement with them that they would do this so that you would be able to step into your power, so that you would know that you are loved, that that love is found within you. And you were there to also teach love. It's so beautiful and simple from the soul's perspective. But again, as humans, we overcomplicate and it seems so hard. But when we look at it and say, oh, that person loves me so much on that level that they volunteer to play the villain in my life and to teach me this beautiful lesson. And with that perspective, we can have a whole new understanding and be able to release those old energies of maybe anger or unworthiness or sadness and truly move forward into the best expression of who we really are. We have the energies helping us right now. So take some time in your meditations, in your thoughts, and really take a good look at your thoughts, at your day, at your energy system, at how you feel. What's coming up in your life right now? What needs to be released? What needs to be understood? What needs some more time for evaluation? The energies right now are so supportive. And when we can do this, we will move forward and shine our light so incredibly bright like we are supposed to. There is not a single one of us here that is not supposed to be shining our light and manifesting the most incredible reality for ourselves. That is what we came here to do. And there is no reason why we shouldn't be doing it. We can release all of these old icky energies that are not serving us anymore by focusing our minds on a different thought and focusing on the love. I love you all so, so, so much. I'm going to leave you with the song for today. This is Ayla Nerio from the Ground Up Acoustic. Until next time, I love you all.
Also, before we cue up today's song, as a quick reminder, don't forget to download the Golden Key audio or ebook as my free gift to you at goldenkey.gift using the Golden Key code POSITIVEHEAD. And please, if you enjoy my gift, leave a positive review on Amazon so others can unlock their lives with the help of the Golden Key as well.
As a wave across the land, we are moving, moving. Say no fate. shoulder to the stone, telling of moving. It takes one step, it takes your voice, it takes your voice saying, I am not hearing if you are not naming it. I am not stopping if you are not changing it. Here are my hands, let's see what they're making. In the morning, in the rise up, there's a bridge from all that's been. In the dawning, the vines are pushing through the pavement. We were born of burning hearts. We are tearing off the reins. From the ground up we will build it. From the clouds above we'll rain it. From the crowd up we will raise it. From the ground up. You hold the spade to turn new soil for the coming grace. You hold the plans. No hands but our hands will lead our children. All that will feed you is a fierce prayer, is a fierce prayer, saying, I am not hearing if you are not naming it. I am not stopping if you are not changing it. Here are my hands, let's see what they're making.